I want to thank Dr. Goree and of course Ms. Jasmine. Come on, that's Ms. Bradford. Zoe, what are you doing? Being late. Come on in, Ms. Stinson. All right, get everybody. Let's get some people in here, and I'm going to share my screen here just for a minute. Come on in, Ms. Anderson. There. Got a few educators too, Dr. Goree, that want to make sure. Ms. Annetta Garner there, who was I believe retired assistant principal over at Southwood, is in now with us. Yes, and let's see here.
Good to see you, Ms. Garner.
Yeah, she's in. Let's see here. Beverly Hudson is in. I let her in, Mr. Dr. Goree.
All right.
I let her in. I want to let her in. I let her in.
Are you enjoying your retirement, or do you miss us yet?
Let me unmute.
Okay.
Beverly.
Yes.
Professor Goree needs to know how you're doing.
Are you enjoying your retirement, or do you miss us yet?
I do not miss you all at all. I'm enjoying myself.
Okay, let me put you back on mute.
I'll call back and ask about the Twitter. I can just ask Pastor Hudson, I guess.
No, they're doing fine. They're on as well.
Okay.
They're on. Okay, very good. I got some more people are coming in there as well. Let's see here who else I have that are coming in. Let me go ahead and share this screen with you all. And this is primarily for our St. Luke people. This is primarily for us, as we know the things that we have going on as well now. And we're doing a series that deals with our mental, physical health, and now we're talking about education and our spiritual health. This is a scripture I want to read tonight, and this is Psalm 37. The Lord knows the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the let me go back to the last page. And the enemies of the Lord, like the splendor of the meadows, shall vanish. Somebody else coming in. Into smoke they shall vanish away. The wicked borrows and does not repay, but the righteous shows mercy and gives. For those blessed by him shall inherit the earth, but those cursed by him shall be cut off. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Listen to this. And it says, and he delights in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholds him with his right hand. I have been young, and now I'm old. And this is very important. Yet have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his descendants, nor his seed begging bread. So even in this time of famine, I want to encourage everybody with this, that even in times of that David was dealing with, he talks about life, and he says that from youth on up, I've never seen God forsake his people. So as people of faith, we do. St. Luke, our schedule, of course, is on Sunday afternoons. I'll release a Sunday school lesson for us to look at. Then on Sunday morning at 10:30, we will go live on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the channel. Jasmine, you and Dr. Goree might want to do that as well. Just subscribe to the channel, and you'll be able a chance to participate with us there. If you're watching your own service, you can still come in. Also, let me allow people in. People are still coming in. And also, the Sunday school lesson, for those of you who don't have your books or what have you, is from the prophet Zechariah, 8th chapter. Just read the whole 8th chapter, if you would. Just please do that there for us. Now, I'm appreciative. Professor Goree, I still have to ask for money, and I know you'll forgive me because I know that Brother Ellison out there, he's still asking you all to make sure that you give.
You sent him the message.
Exactly. Exactly. So these are our ways, and St. Luke members, you know that what they are. Make sure that you can mail it to the church address, mail it to Tommy Lee's, our treasurer, our recording steward's house. Come by the church each Sunday morning between 9 and noon while I'm there, and then on Monday mornings when the officers are there preparing as well. Also, we want to say Happy Mother's Day as part of our, we won't get a chance to worship together, and we probably won't be able to do anything physically, but we certainly want to wish all of our mothers a very happy Mother's Day, just as if we would be worshiping. I'll mention that on Sunday during the service, but we certainly definitely don't want to miss saying positive things and being thankful for our mothers during this time as well. Let me see here. Jasmine Green, we usually see each other at the football games as the announcer for Green Oaks football.
Yes,
and
sir.
I get a chance to see you. We talk.
Job. You do such a great job.
Thank you. So we get a chance to see, and I think I see Professor Goree quite a bit. I'm going to show him something here in just a second. But this is a time that I wanted us to talk about a lot of things, and I want to take this time with my church family and bring people like you all in so that you can help us to talk about our children. And we figured out one thing that people love more than anything else are their children. And we certainly want you to help us to put our families and our children at ease. I want to show you a few images there. Well, that's a picture, Dr. Goree, Professor, you and I took at the Ring the Bell. I wanted the people to know that, yeah, we took this picture back in 2018, I believe, at the Ring the Bell ceremony. I might have to give you a picture. You might make some money off that picture. I don't know. All right. And let's see here. This is the one that I wanted to share with you. And I want to show you guys a series of pictures, Professor Goree and Jasmine there. I want to show you guys a series of pictures. I want you to look at them, and I'm going to allow you, Jasmine, to go first. This is an empty classroom. I want to show you the next one here is I want to go back to this one. Let me go back. Go back to the, let's see here. This one here is a teacher in Germany who is measuring distance for her elementary school students. This is an assembly in Japan where school actually just started for the year. The school just started. School year just began, and this is how kids are spaced out. I want you to look at these images. And this one here is, I believe, in Taipei, Taiwan. And these are elementary students who are begun school. I believe this picture might have been taken last month. When you see images like these, and this is the last one. This is a teacher in Germany who, instead of being able to give their student a high five or to give their student a hug, they have to enter the classroom being given this form of disinfectant. When you see images like that, let me go ahead and allow, first of all, I want you, Jasmine, tell us a little bit about yourself. Just tell us, just introduce yourself. Then tell me about that. Then I want to go and spend most of my time with Professor Goree. Go ahead, Jasmine, please.
Jasmine Green, your Caddo Parish School Board representative for District 2. I represent, actually the church sits right, probably dead in the middle of my district. And I visit you guys quite often, and your pastor does such a great job in what he does in the community, and we definitely appreciate you, St. Luke, and make sure you keep us in your District 2 in your prayers.
Now there's a story. Now there's a secret, Dr. Goree, that you don't know, but I can tell it now. But I was teaching in Bossier, and Jasmine found me. And Jasmine, the lady retired from the district that I actually live in, and Jasmine had guaranteed me and got me a spot on the school board. And I was teaching in Bossier, and I didn't take it, and I will probably regret that because I hadn't planned on coming back to Caddo to teach, and I think that's one of my lifelong regrets. But we're gonna keep that a secret from now. Go ahead, Dr. Goree.
Well, certainly the advantage is that we get you as an educator in Caddo Parish. Absolutely appreciate the invitation to be with the St. Luke family tonight, and thank you, Pastor Hudson. Ms. Hudson, thank you so much too for reaching out to help make this happen. Certainly respect to my board member who does an incredible job of supporting the vision that's made all the things that we've accomplished in the past few years possible. So publicly, I do thank her for every vote, every ounce of support that she's given to the children of our parish. Now, just to speak a little bit to those pictures, I wish as I sat here today, I could tell you that those are not realities, but all of those pictures are realities. As we begin to prepare for what school will look like in the fall next year, there have been several overwhelming nights. There have been several meetings that we've had where we've asked the question, are you serious? But many of the things that you just saw will be somewhat of realities. We are working very closely with the Louisiana Department of Education, as well as our local and state health officials to define what will a classroom or a school look like as we go into next year.
Exactly.
I feel that my board members, I tell people I need to be talking to my board members, but we're in a time now where if you can make it, what's the old song, if I'm just living day to day, it's so much happening and so much changing every day. I think if we talk about where we are challenged today is that we're dealing with a federal government that sets out a group of guidelines around something as simple as reopening and then encourages no one to follow them.
Exactly.
At the same time, you have the CDC who puts out a list of recommendations as to what things like schools and churches should look like as we reopen, and the federal level rejects it. So we are oftentimes very confused. And I find that when you are confused, we're going to do what's best for children. And that's the way we're building our plan in Caddo Parish. When we talk about what you can anticipate seeing in the fall, I think in our best scenario, you see a very traditional day. Traditional to what we've done in the past. Now, what I can tell you is I would be extremely surprised if we see that, because our new normal just can't be our normal. Our old normal can't be our new normal. If nothing else, you're going to see what's called the, we talk about the summer slide, that when you leave in May and you come back in August, there's a slide because you're going to lose some information. So now we're not only going to see the summer slide, but we got what we call the Corona slide.
Exactly.
These babies left school on March 13th. That was a long time ago.
Exactly.
And they won't receive any formal education until we go back. Now, where I thank Ms. Green and the board for being very progressive is that we realize that from an equity perspective, this won't affect minority and poor children the same way as it will affect their counterparts. So in that respect, I thank the board for making funding available so that we could buy those technology devices. We bought over 2,000 Chromebooks. And when we buy those Chromebooks, we're assigning those to students that need the support at home because they don't have the technology to stay caught up on the curriculum. Really excited to work for a complete board because, Ms. Green will tell you, we work with a diverse board, and Ms. Green, she's making decisions with some extremely conservative folks who believe parents should be doing some of this stuff.
Exactly.
But they've worked so hard and worked well together to where this board truly does believe in putting the extra money where it needs to be. So that's happening. But at the same time, I will tell you that even with that happening, we thought that with our new administration, with Mayor Perkins, that we were moving toward this smart city. And we do believe we're moving in that direction. But yet in that same fashion, we found if you're up in Gilbert, Louisiana, or if you are even some parts of Moortown, the connectivity is so slow and so poor that kids were not able to get caught up. And then you had the equity component of who's supporting the kids at home. And it's nothing against anyone, but everyone cannot teach, especially the way we teach math today. So
exactly.
it's some struggles, and a lot of those things are things that we're struggling with. So let's say in a perfect world, we will have a traditional school day, but in that day, we have to build in those remediations. The best story is that you have kids that a friend of mine has a daughter that's a kindergarten teacher at Oak Park. And at Oak Park, you have pretty much 100% children of economically disadvantaged households. And in that whole struggle, there are challenges with someone at home having the skill set to really teach them how to read. And I'm not saying everyone can, but that's what we're facing. So we had those kids that left in March, and anyone that's taught kids how to read knows that bulb, it just goes off and they're reading. those kids were at the cusp of that happening.
Exactly.
But because of either technology, because of support, because of situations, life, we see that many of those kids have not started reading. So we have to build a system to do that. Now, let's say that we're in a situation where the state does come back and they say that social distancing is what we need to do. We are assessing classrooms every day to determine how many children can you actually put in a classroom and maintain some level of social distancing. Notice I didn't say 6 feet, folks.
Exactly.
That's overwhelming. But we do believe the number is somewhere between 15 and 17. So there is an option out there where we will do somewhat of an A-day, B-day schedule where half the kids would come one day, the other half would come the other day. And you would, that day when you don't come, you would do a virtual platform. So this would be somewhat of a hybrid school day.
So Mr. Superintendent, excuse me, are you suggesting then that my English 1 classes next year won't have 35 kids in them? Is that what you're telling me tonight, perhaps?
What I'm saying to you is that we would take that 35 and divide it by 2, and you would have A day, you'd have half of them, B day, you'd have the other half, and you would assign work so that on the day when you don't have them, that other group will be to support what they're doing in school. Now, this is going to require several state waivers of seat time because the kids would you're functionally being in school half the time. But as wild as that sound, it really is the option that many school systems are looking at. Also, as we build these schedules, we've got to look at increasing the amount of time that we're spending in literacy and numeracy, being math and reading. We've got to ensure that we're hitting those gaps. So as we design our schedules, those are things that we have to hit. We are planning to have temperature measurements at the beginning of the school day. We are planning to have hand sanitizers in every classroom. We're planning for kids to go and wash their hands every hour. So all of these things, they are actually realities. And I really do believe that until we identify a vaccine for the virus, we're at risk. And I do think that we're going to have to take every precaution to make sure that we're keeping our children in environments that are as safe as possible.
Okay. Dr. Goree, I want to share my screen again, and I want to show you something here. And I want to find it if I can.
And while you're finding that,
go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
I just want to say a special thank you to Dr. Goree and his staff, because when we first got this message, he and staff hit the ground running. When you think about how many children were getting fed during this time, kids that normally don't get have a lot of food to eat at home, we were helping parents out, especially in this community where I live, in the MLK community. We fed so many children, and I was just so grateful that staff was able to help us get the Chromebooks we needed for the area. So I just want to publicly thank Dr. Goree for making sure that my district and his staff making sure our district have what we need as well. Exactly. I definitely appreciate that.
Exactly. Now, this, Dr. Goree, this sentence right here, social justice, and you just mentioned that. Now, I am what is known academically as ABD. I am, you know what that means.
What it means.
Exactly. So, and I'm getting there. And you're familiar with this quote that I'm reading from, is that right? Social justice and education can be identified in many areas. Social justice can be related to issues regarding gender, environment, race, and social class and education, which you just hit on just a minute ago. Now, the reason Dr. Goree is so familiar with this quote is because I'm reading this directly from his dissertation. And in it, you see the issue of social justice as being important. And in fact, your entire dissertation deals with children in socioeconomically underdeveloped communities and the need for smaller schools. Now, how does that play into your training and bringing this district to where now we may be looking at smaller classrooms, not because through planning, but by providence? Help me out.
Ms. Green is going to use that against me, that I really believe in small schools.
Okay, that's all right.
One of these days, that's going to come up again. You know what I tell you, though, is if you look at the heart of the research, it really focused on you really find your greatest success in smaller settings.
Mhm.
And you know, that's why even a lot of parents, they will look at private schools because it's not as big of a setting. So
Mhm.
I do believe, and I still do, I do believe that you do find that in small settings. But more importantly, the research led to speak to everything dealt with a relationship,
Exactly.
and that it was easier to create relationships in smaller environments. When you talk about children of poverty, the thing that they are often missing is that because of generally the poverty is driven from some type of traumatic experience. That leads them to not generally have the relationships that you see our affluent counterparts have. When I look at the parents that are sending emails saying that my child cannot go to school because I don't feel they're safe, we will be fine with the online platform. You generally find that those are families of children of
Mhm.
affluent families.
Mhm.
Now, but at the same time, when we look at the families, and let's get real here, when we look at
Mhm.
who is going to be most affected by this virus,
Exactly.
there are not many Black folks who do not know at least two people that
Mhm.
have been who are dead. Actually, I'm not going to
Exactly.
even say that have tested positive. Most
Exactly.
of us can identify a few people that are dead. So when you translate that back to what that's going to look like in the school, it's going to be even more critical for us to develop those critical relationships that you generally find in smaller settings. And I do believe if we are to have to go to a setting where we don't have more than 15 to 17 children in a class, it will empower the teacher to develop those relationships. You know, Pastor Hudson, in your capacity as a teacher, you know, when you have 35 kids in the classroom, at some point you're just a number. I mean, how did you do on the work? Yeah, I tell people, you know the highest ones and you know the ones that talk.
Exactly. But it's the ones in the
So
middle.
them babies in the middle, we
That's
just
right.
don't know, and that's what most of us are in the middle. So
Exactly.
I do believe, to your point, that will allow us to develop that. One thing I want to add when we talk about social justice, though, is
Mhm.
that one thing, and my education friends, especially those of color,
Mhm.
have pointed out that the equity issues in America have
Yes.
never been more obvious. When you
Yes.
look at the technology divide, you know, the new buzzword is that technology is almost as critical as water.
Mhm.
You have to be able to connect in the
Mhm.
world.
Right.
You can't get telemedicine now.
Mhm.
It's so many skills and so many services that you have to be able to connect to get. Uh, and that's a divide. When you look at access to quality curriculums, if you can't connect to them, you can't continue your education. So I do think that those are some areas where we have to make sure we as a community to continue to work together. One thing I will say to St. Luke too, though, is if you're looking at a situation where you have kids at school one day and not at school the other day, these are working class families who are going to need a lot of support on those days when kids are not in school. Now, what we have to be able to do as a community is we need to be, and I need to be telling you what I need you to start working towards. We're going to have to think about how are we going to help support some of these working families as we get this economy open again, whatever that
Okay.
looks like.
Okay.
Okay, how do we support that? And I think that's going to be critically important as we move forward. Let me throw one more thing in there too.
Mhm.
I talked about going to school as normal with a remediation period, so maybe an extended school day. I spoke to an alternative day where you extend blocks around literacy and numeracy. We're also going to have a plan to where we can flip to digital, 100% digital platform within 24 hours. Oftentimes, and Ms. Hudson will know about this when as well as Ms. Gardner, when we're in the school system, I may have a flu outbreak in a school, and we can tell that it's spreading fast. So we'll close the school for 2 and 3 days. We'll have the professionals come in, defog the building. We'll clean every desk. And we'll, you know, if it's a Wednesday, we may come back Friday, or we may just wait till Monday. In this new normal, though, if it's a corona outbreak, at minimum, we're looking at a 14-day closure. And we
Mm.
can't keep going 14 days and 2 and 3 months
Exactly.
without providing instruction to children. So we have to be ready to flip that switch in a minute. And I appreciate Ms. Green's comment, because I do believe staff did a wonderful job as we supported this quick change. But those things like food, which I think I'm most proud of, we're feeding over 65,000 meals a week. And that's on our dime. We're going to figure out how to pay for it. And we're getting there, but we're going to figure out how to pay for it. But I'm so proud of that. But those are the type of things that we have to be able to do on a dime next year. And we got to make sure that we're having more connectivity and more engagement. The one thing that we don't have, our engagement is too low, but families are overwhelmed and people are affected by this virus. So we have to make sure we spend that time in that social emotional space, make sure that we're providing that counseling, that we're getting families the support they need so that they can be engaged and continue to learn.
Okay.
Because I really don't believe the world's going to stop and wait on us.
Exactly.
It's going to be on us. And if you listen to the media and the politicians, especially those who are of the conservative fashion, they ready to roll. And it's not affecting them the same way. So
exactly.
We're going to have to make sure that we're keeping up as best we can.
Now, I see Professor Mary Nash Robinson is on as well. I want to give her a minute here in just a second. Mr.
I ask her to show her face.
Well, I'm gonna let you do that. She may not want to, but that's her. And I think one of the members of your staff, I think she just muted herself there. So, and I think your other, someone, Miss Mary Nash Wood, one of your cabinet is as well. Dr. Goree, as far as your, well, let me make sure there. As far as the observances, the ceremony, one of the things that I feel most sorry for are the children who are seniors and didn't get to graduate, are not getting that that end of the year celebration.
Absolutely.
Now, I have a couple of 8th grade kids and parents who wanted me to also remind people as well that even some of the 8th grade kids did not necessarily get a chance to have a particular celebration. Would you address the graduations? We know the tentative schedule, if you would, and how we're planning to do those, and then talk about those kids who are making transitions from elementary to middle school and middle school to high school.
You know, one thing I will tell you is that the pandemic certainly took all of us by storm and took the wind out of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly we all agree that if there's a group that deserves to be treated specially or deserves a level of I'm really sorry are our seniors. You know, these are children that were born in the days of the 9/11 attack in New York.
Exactly.
So their first year of life was consumed with that. These are also they were pre-Kers when we started Katrina. So
Mm-hmm.
many of them, when Katrina hit, they were just starting school. So they went through that. So in that respect, if there's nothing I know about this group of students, they are resilient.
Mm-hmm.
And this is only preparing them for great success as they move forward in life. Having said that, what we have done, though, with the large number of high schools that we have, about 2,500 kids will graduate from Caddo Parish schools. All of our high schools have done unique things on their own to celebrate their seniors.
Right.
Several of them I could highlight with banners that they've put up with their pictures. We have some that teachers have taken signs and put them in their yards. So there have been so many things that have been done to really celebrate our graduating seniors. Now, what we plan to do also is that we've worked with KTBS and our KTBS, and I think the date is March 16th, and Mary Wood, my communications director, can clarify that, but we're working on a 1-hour special where we will highlight those senior classes. We're working in collaboration with Bossier to do that. Now, we're also have scheduled graduations, and those graduations will take place the last week in July. I know that Dr. Robinson's Magnolia graduation is also scheduled for that time window. And what will happen is we will, I do believe that we will have limited attendance at that time, but in best case scenario, we do look to make it as traditional as possible. We will probably have a seat limit, anywhere from 4 to 6 guests per person, and that is just to control the size of the crowd. Because if you look at those things as established by the federal government, there will still be limitations in numbers of people that can participate in events. But we certainly do look forward to having that graduation and celebrating our children appropriately. But so proud of my high schools and my principals, especially there, and their staffs for pulling things together to show these students how special they are.
Okay. Ms. Nash Wood, would you like to comment on what Mr. Superintendent said?
Well, I don't get to see him much in person anymore, so it's just nice to see Dr. Goree's face. Hi, Doc.
Hey,
So, in piggybacking what he's saying, we have so many families that have just taken this charge and done some incredible things in terms of our seniors. I know in my neighborhood alone, tomorrow they're having a celebration in the neighborhood, of course with social distancing, for the senior class of students that are here. But whenever you're looking at our graduating seniors, I really have to give kudos to the board, to the superintendent, and to leadership in regard to what they've been thinking for graduation, trying to marry this idea of safety as a top priority coupled with celebration and pomp and circumstance. And how do you really make this a moment to remember for our seniors? So it's been working collaboratively to have it where everything we can do by July to be able to give that moment to our seniors. We're holding on to hope and doing everything we can within it.
Right, thank you.
Within that as well, I do also need to say we are working with Department of Education. Dr. Goree was on a call this morning with them to be able to say that we want that for as many seniors as possible. So pushing to allow many school systems and many high schools to be able to celebrate appropriately for our senior class.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very kindly there.
I can add too, Pastor Hudson, too. And
Yes, sir.
This is, you know, if there's a silver lining, is that at least this year, too, our State Department and Bessie waived standardized testing.
State testing, exactly.
Those children who normally would be struggling at this point, if there's a good part about this year, they all gonna walk this year. And I think that's great because, you know, it's around this time every year that I'm talking to those very anxious parents. And there's nothing I can do. But this year, we did do a waiver for those kids. And I do think that was one nice gesture.
Okay.
So we're letting them out.
Okay, very good. Miss Robinson, Miss Mary Robinson, yeah, you were the principal up here at Green Oaks, I believe, at one point. Would you like to share something with us there, Miss Robinson? I think I have her.
I think she's muted.
I just unmuted her.
He just unmuted me. Good evening, everybody.
And she knows she's far too cute not to show her face.
Let me tell you, I'm very fortunate in the fact that I am sitting at a laptop without a camera. Believe me, you don't want to. Believe me, you don't want to see my face. I am a hot mess. Okay,
No way.
a hot mess.
Not
But
possible.
thank you, St. Luke, and thank you for the members of New Hope CME for the invitation to join tonight.
I'm not the pastor of New Hope anymore. I'm the pastor of St. Luke.
I know that. That's
Okay.
why I said thank you, St. Luke. I don't know where I got the invitation from, but
Okay, all right.
but I appreciate being included in this session tonight.
Yeah.
You know, you all, I taught in the days when we use real chalk. You know, do they use real? I mean,
No.
can you even buy real chalk anymore?
No.
No.
And overhead projectors. So this wrapping my mind around this new out of the box kind of thing is a challenge for me. But I've been blessed to work with a staff that is not afraid of anything, and they hit the ground running, and the support from the district has been phenomenal. We are Caddo too, and we hope to follow the lead of the superintendent and his administration, and make them proud of what it is that we are able to accomplish at Magnolia.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Thank you very, very much. Now, Mr. Superintendent, again, for those, what can we do for those the ceremonies beyond the children that are graduating? Because those are special moments as well. Are you leaving that up to the individual principals, or how we have to do that?
If I may, since Green Oaks is in your district, what they're doing is they're doing a special kind of ceremony for, over here at Southern University.
Okay.
They have the banners that they'll be putting at Southern. And I believe how they're going to have it, they've actually postponed it.
Okay.
And I can get you the dates of when
Please
they're
do.
going to be having something, I guess, like if you want to make a donation or buy balloons or however they're going to have it set up.
Okay.
They'll give instructions on how to do it. And as soon as I get that,
Okay.
I'll make sure that I pass it on to you.
Okay, very good, very good. Thank you so much. Mr. Superintendent, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you, and thank you very much for agreeing so readily. I guess that's one of the attributes of being a Morehouse person there. I have a good friend of mine, Brother Manuel Henderson, who is also an alpha, which
Okay.
I apologize to you all for that. My shirt is not in the, so you can actually, if you look at my shirt there, you see what. Okay, all right. As long as you, all right, very good. So, all right.
You guys did a very good job of following our lead.
Okay. Thank you so much. And do you have anything else you want to say to us before we go ahead and go?
Once again, thank you for the wonderful conversation.
Yes, sir.
Thank Caddo Parish employees and everyone for being on board tonight. Dr. Robinson, as well as Mary Nash Wood and Board Member Green. One thing I would encourage the church to do too, though, is with those seniors. And I know, church, you guys probably do your nice Bible and let them march in, but let's celebrate them at every level,
exactly,
as impactfully as we can. And I'm telling you, let's get it in as soon as we can, because we all know, and I tell seniors this, and I don't say this to be insensitive, but when we get to Christmas, they won't be able to tell me where that memory book is.
Exactly.
And make sure that we're using this with our seniors as an opportunity to build grit and resilience, because this is not the last challenge they will face in life. I certainly hope they don't face this one again,
right,
but it's not their last challenge. But use this to strengthen them and to make them stronger. And just remember, at the end of the day, we are all Caddo. We love all of our children, and we're going to do whatever we can, again, to protect their safeties. We're not looking to Washington for leadership. We're looking to our community, and we're looking to do what's best for our children.
Thank you. And we have several parents that are on. Hopefully you all were blessed. I'm going to unmute everybody so you can very quickly tell the superintendent thank you so much. Everybody go ahead and tell superintendent thank you for coming, participating with us.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
All right. And also thank you. So everybody's appreciative as well. Let me mute everybody back. I'm going to.
Marcus, it was good.
Who is that now? Who is that?
My neighbor, Cliff Starks.
Yes. Okay. Exactly. Very good, Brother Starks. Yes.
I'm looking forward to breaking bread soon.
All right, very good, Brother Starks. Listen, I'm going to share my screen one more time there, and as we close, as an English and a history teacher, one of my favorite characters of history is Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill, of course, was the Prime Minister of England during some of his darkest days, including World War II. And his legendary leadership, along with President Roosevelt, helped the West to survive the threat of the Iron Curtain and Hitlerism. However, when he died, I believe it was 1965, his funeral was planned. He had a planned funeral, and his planned funeral where he wanted the Battle Hymn of the Republic sang there because he had been given honorary American citizenship by President Kennedy. But what was most interesting was he had the bugler to play taps, and the bugler, after he finished playing taps, to play reveille. Now, those of you who know anything about the military, you know that taps represents the end of the day, and reveille is the beginning of the morning. So even though it seems as though the taps has been played for our schools and for our churches, we still look forward to the reveille. It is not the taps that tells us the story of who we are as a people. It is the fact that we can get up and move forward and go on. And that's what we're looking forward to, Mr. Superintendent, and others of you who are in leadership. The taps may have been played, but there is a reveille, and for that we are thankful. Now, God, dismiss us.